Wouldn't it be really nice if we could deliver video this rich through Flash, right? This is 1920 HD video. And the good news is that we can. Welcome to delivering the best Flash HD video. My name is R. Blank, and I'm CTO of Almer Blank. We're a boutique production agency and Adobe solution partner for the Flash platform based in Venice Beach, California. Almer Blank is what pays the bills. In addition to that, I'm co-founder and training director at the Rich Media Institute. We're an Adobe authorized training center, locations here in Toronto and Los Angeles, as well as an online training catalog at richmediainstitute.com. In addition to that, I teach, speak, and write for numerous outlets, including the University of Southern California, Adobe, and Friends of Ed. So, that done, what's this talk about? This talk is about getting your viewers the best quality video possible on all the devices that Flash now supports. Adobe, as you may have seen right during yesterday's keynote, has just improved the quality of spectacular HD video that you can deliver through the Flash player losslessly, right, without frame dropping. And I'm going to explain what that feature is, how it works, and how you can get the most out of it. Stage Video, it was added in Flash Player 10.2, and it was designed specifically to improve video performance. Stage Video is better video. It can deliver much higher quality, up to 1920 HD video, again, losslessly, without frame dropping, without your viewers having a poor experience. So, Stage Video is higher res video, it's higher frame rate video, it's of course HD, and it's all still in normal Flash, right? No extra plugins, no extra requirements. It gets you up to 85% performance savings over delivering video in prior versions of Flash. For years, the quality of video experiences delivered over the web was limited by bandwidth, video compression format options, and computing power. Those three throttles or bottlenecks have really been removed, or at least greatly expanded, right, in the last few years, where the bandwidth to the home for many, many users has gone way up. I'm talking to people here who have 100 megabit up and down. I mean, that's a lot of video that you could watch at once. The video compression format options, a lot of people don't realize that there's new video codecs, new video compression standards that are continually being developed. The video that you're watching today is in a format that didn't really exist 10 years ago. And of course, computing power. Even our little devices, right, like our iPhones, have way more power than computers used to have. So how does Stage Video achieve these performance improvements? Well, first, by trimming overhead, and second, by using and exploiting something called hardware acceleration. So let's approach these one at a time. First, what do I mean when I say overhead savings? Before Stage Video was introduced, right, a video in Flash was just like anything else in Flash. That meant it could be, well, still, right, you still have this option if you're not using Stage Video. A video object can be tweened, it can be shaded, transformed, it can be manipulated just like any other graphic in Flash. To support that level of creative control, Flash has to do a lot of processing calculations for every frame of the video. And depending on the power of the viewing device, right, this can force Flash to drop frames and significantly impair the viewing experience, right? So the way it used to be, right, a video in Flash, just like anything else in Flash. So it can do like anything, has the same capabilities of any other object in Flash. The problem with that, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I've done projects that exploited that. Using transparent video overlaid on a site and making it interactive. It can be really cool. The problem, though, is that's a really slim percentage of use cases of video on the web, right? If you think about video on the web, what is it? It's a rectangle that updates as frequently as possible, ideally as big as possible, right? That's what video on the web is for, you know, to make up a number, 95% of implementations. So you don't need all that extra stuff that Flash allows you to do with video, which means you don't need to consume all that extra overhead that it comes along with all those powers. So just like in ActionScript 3, when they introduced a sprite, which was a slimmer movie clip, and it does less than a movie clip, right? And you can use it if you want to save on memory. Similar sort of concept. So we have a slimmer video player. We've trimmed overhead. Next, we have hardware acceleration. Hardware acceleration means that we're relying on the hardware, whatever hardware it is, to accelerate the performance of Flash, right? So if the hardware is my Mac, I'm looking on the web, I'm playing a Flash video, it means tapping into the relatively powerful graphics card that is in my MacBook Pro. If I'm playing on a mobile device, it means tapping into the native powers of the mobile device, right? Because Flash, as we all know, is software. And hardware is much more powerful than software, right? Software is much more flexible. You can do a lot more with it, but hardware is where the power is. And if you want to tap into real processing and rendering power, you have to tap into the hardware. So in the case of working with video and rendering Flash, the hardware we're talking about, as I just mentioned, is a graphics card. And on most graphics cards today, there's this little video decoder that's built into it. And what hardware acceleration means, particularly with stage video, is we're relying on that little video processor on the graphics card to do a lot more work than it used to. And that is what accelerates the playback of the video and allows us to get better video. Now, stage video is just the latest hardware acceleration enhancement in Flash. It actually, as I just said, goes back a few versions, right? So before Flash 90115, and that was shortly after the acquisition by Adobe, right? So it was Macromedia before that. And from early on in Macromedia's history, in Flash's history, Macromedia decided to assume a platform agnostic stance. I want Flash to run like Flash wherever it runs. And that was a cool idea. In fact, that's why people like me, or a lot of people like me, got into Flash, right? Because I was sick of testing and debugging and fixing HTML on IE3 and Netscape 2 and all these things where it wasn't the same. But part of that platform agnostic stance meant that Macromedia wasn't going to tap into any platform-specific benefits, right? It was a lowest common denominator approach. Then video took off, right? Flash 8, the VP6 codec, I'll cover video codecs a little bit, but video took off, right? YouTube was on the cover of Time magazine. No one said Flash video, but that was what enabled all of it. Right, there became a huge market in video and Flash, and the movie studios, among others, pushed for better video quality to be delivered through Flash, and that's when we got the first real significant improvement. The movie star release of Flash Player 90115 is when they introduced hardware acceleration in full screen mode. So when you were playing video in full screen mode, you could tap into the hardware on the device, and that was, again, designed primarily for video, and that was the first little hint. In Flash Player 10, they added hardware acceleration in normal view. In Flash Player 10.1, they improved hardware acceleration and made it the default behavior. Right? So in Flash Player 10, unless you knew you were working with hardware acceleration, you weren't. Right? Same in 9. But with 10.1, it became the default. Now, in Flash Player 10.2, we have stage video. But just saying that we trim overhead and use hardware acceleration doesn't really explain the feature or how it works. So to see how stage video works, let's compare how Flash renders video with and without the stage video feature. Okay, so here we have without stage video. Now this is still hardware accelerated playback. This isn't old playback. This is still hardware accelerated, but it's not using the latest feature called stage video. So you have a server, your video is downloaded from the server to the Flash player. Then Flash passes the video data, right, the little zeros and ones that make up the video file, to the graphics card. And it asks the graphics card to send back effectively a bitmap of that data, right, to decode that data into a renderable image. Flash will then assemble that image along with whatever other symbols are on the stage, right, movie clips and graphics and whatnot, send it to the browser, and then the browser will send that to the monitor. Okay, so this, again, still uses hardware acceleration because we're relying on the native graphics card to decode the video, but not to render the video. Flash is still rendering the video. So now with stage video, we have the same process. We have a server. We deliver the video from the server to the Flash player. Flash sends the video data over to the graphics card, but now the graphics card just draws that directly to the screen. Okay? That's the key difference. So now the graphics card isn't just decoding the video, it is also rendering the video to the monitor, to the user. Then Flash will take whatever other assets that you have and render those, again, through the browser to the screen. Note, it's a very minor graphical detail, but I put attention to this, right? The video is now in the back. And I'll get into some of the limitations of working with stage video, but that's one of them. It's always in the back. Okay? because I just explained why. Because the graphics card renders it directly to the screen, and then Flash will draw on top of it. So again, side by side, the key difference is that again, this is hardware acceleration. Without hardware acceleration, we wouldn't even have that graphics card, and the performance is even slower. But with hardware acceleration, graphics card sends the image data back to Flash, which will render it. With stage video, the graphics card will render the video directly to the screen. Seen another way, right? This is what Flash will render the video and all of the graphics without stage video. And with stage video, right, the graphics card renders the video, and then Flash gets to draw on top of it.